Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name's Dave, and this is episode 1902B, and today's date is June 26, 2019, and the title of the episode is Deep State Plays Their Hand, Patriots Calm, Move into Position, Wait for It. Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk about Q and those people that have been following Q. Ever since Q first appeared, we've learned the truth behind the deep state and its attempt to undermine America and all that it stands for. I mean, look closely at the new coin. The coin comes with an envelope and a card, and it's packaged in an envelope of We the People. Go to greatawakeningcoin.com, and for this month, you can get $5 discount if you buy 2 coins. Just use X22 Report in the discount box, and you'll get these 2 coins delivered to your doorstep. And as Q always says, where we go one, we go all. Now, before I get started, I just want to let everyone know that I am traveling, and the areas that I am in, they do not have great internet. And this is why I didn't upload a report. There will be no report on Thursday, but there will be a report on Friday, because on Thursday, I'll be in an area which is going to be very, very spotty. But after Friday, all the reports will go back to normal. Just wanted to let everyone know this so there's no confusion at all. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, the deep state, they're throwing everything at Trump. They're playing their full hand because they know if they can't get Trump, they can't get him out of the way. It is the end, and they might even resort to something more drastic like an attempt on his life. Remember, they're not going to go down without a fight, and they will fight until the end. Their hand that they're playing right now is completely falling apart. They don't even know it yet. Take, for example, the story by E. Jean Carroll, where she said that Trump attacked her in Bergdorf Goodman in the dressing room. Well, she was on CNN with Anderson Cooper, and when she's telling the story, they kind of cut away because she said, rape is like sexy. But what's very interesting about all of this is not that Carol's story is eerily similar to an episode of Law & Order from season 13, right down to the rape fantasy in Bergdorf Goodman dressing room. So that story is completely falling apart, and it's being ripped apart, and it's going to go nowhere. Now they're going after Kellyanne Conway with the Hatch Act, and Jim Jordan let them have it. Jordan called out Obama's corrupt officials who targeted conservatives for ruin and said the hit on Conway is outrageous, unprecedented, unfair, and just flat out wrong. Take a listen to what Jordan says.
Mr. Chairman, the report from the Office of the Special Counsel is outrageous, it's unprecedented, it's unfair, and it's just flat out wrong. We should be honest. The reason we're here today is Mr. Kerner got his feelings hurt. He told that to the White House counsel's office. He said he took great offense to Ms. Conway's response, and that's why he rushed the report and only gave the Ms. Conway 16 hours to respond. Mr. Kerner felt slighted. Ms. Conway didn't pay enough attention to him in his office. And you know why she didn't? Because the allegation is ridiculous. Let's be clear about the Hatch Act. Federal employee can't come to work and hand out partisan literature, can't come to work and hand out yard signs. Federal employee can't come to work and raise funds for a candidate or pressure subordinates to support a particular political party. But a senior advisor to the President of the United States can sure as heck go on cable news shows and answer questions. David Plouffe did it. David Axelrod did it. John Podesta, they all did it for President Obama. But now that it's a strong-willed Republican helping President Trump, can't have that. Can't have that. All of a sudden, nope, got to stop that. Mr. Kerner and the Office of Special Counsel felt slighted.
Now, Jim Jordan, he just went right at them, called them out on all of it. But the Democrat-led House Oversight Committee voted 25-16 to authorize a subpoena for Kellyanne Conway over the non-existent Hatch Act. Now, the White House is trying to block this from having Kellyanne go in and testify to all this. Mark Meadows also called out the corrupt Obama administration during the hearing. He said, "We have one standard for Kellyanne Conway, and another standard for everybody else. And so if you're going to subpoena people, let's subpoena Samantha Power. Let's make sure she comes in, because you know what I have? I have emails on her official account where she was going after Trump while she was working for our government, and indeed at the same time was unmasking individuals. And he's absolutely right, and we'll be getting into that in just a minute. But very interestingly now, Robert Mueller, he will testify on July 17th. Let's see if that really happens. Let's see if they follow through. Now, according to Adam Schiff, Robert Mueller has agreed to deliver congressional testimony to a joint panel of the House Intelligence Judiciary Committee on July 17th. First, to frame the narrative for the appearance, Chairman Adam Schiff releases a letter signed by only Nadler and Schiff that threatened a subpoena. The subpoena letter is a prop for a pre-planned theatrical event. How do we know this? Because Schiff and Nadler, they're the only ones that signed it. It's an optic to set the cornerstone for a narrative that Schiff and Nadler want Mueller's appearance. Second, the Joint Committee approach is also part of the strategy. With 40 members from both committees, there will be intentionally only be one round of questions. The size of the committee is part of the design to protect Robert Mueller. Knowing Mueller was in deep discussion with Schiff and Nadler to coordinate the appearance, the optic of the letter and the size of the committee are the first two immediate flares that indicate a staged performance is being set up. Now, we know if Jim Jordan, Meadows, and the rest get to question him, this thing is going to look really bad for the Dems and for Mueller, because they're going to be bringing up things they don't want to be brought up. But let's continue here. Remember, a couple reports ago, we said they're going to continually drip information out, throw it out there, and let people say, wait, why is he saying this? Does he have anything to back it up? Now, of course, the mainstream media is going to come out and say, oh, Trump just said this, or this person just said this, without any type of evidence or anything like that. They want them to do this. This is part of the setup strategy. Now, Trump came out and he claimed that Special Counsel Robert Mueller illegally terminated texts between the two lovers, the two pathetic lovers, those two lovebirds, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, Trump said. The two former FBI employees at the center of the agency's earlier Trump investigation sent thousands of text messages to each other, which revealed their extreme animus for then-candidate Trump. Now, Trump is saying that something happened here, that he deleted and wiped these messages off of their phones, which did happen. So, does this mean the messages are gone? No. They're still there. The Patriots have everything. But Trump is saying that this is illegal, that this is a crime. And he's absolutely right. He's bringing attention to all of this. We have Jordan Schachtel. He tweeted out the following. So Mueller's team wiped all of the data off of Peter Strzok's iPhone after determining it contained no substantive text messages. Given what we know about Strzok, this smells like quite the cover-up. Time for Congress to step in, he continued. I'm sure you're all super shocked to find out that Lisa Page's phone was also scrubbed. Remember, the OIG recovered approximately about 19,000 Strzok Page text messages from their Galaxy S5 phones. The messages span a gap in text messages between December 15, 2016 and May 17, 2017. But believe me, the Patriots, they have the rest of these text messages. And this is why Trump is out there dripping this information out to the public, so the public is on the same page. Now, John Solomon from The Hill, he's dripping out even more information. What did he just let loose? It turns out that Powers, the diplomat whose authority inexplicably was used to unmask hundreds of Americans' names in secret intelligence reports during the 2016 election, engaged in similar Trump bashing on her official government email, according to documents unearthed by the American Center for Law and Justice lawsuit. The conservative legal group is run by Trump defense attorney Jay Suckaloo. The discovery could add a new dimension, a question of political bias, to a long-running congressional investigation into why Powers' authority was used to unmask hundreds of Americans' names in secret national security agencies' intercepts during the 2016 election. That practice of unmasking continues to grow today. Now, after Trump stunned the world with his general election win over Hillary Clinton, remember, they never thought she was going to lose, the observations of Powers and those emailing her on her official government account turn more biased. And this is some of the emails here. I am discouraged and frightened. Electing a right-wing president is something, but such a morally repugnant bully? Now, this is from a sender whose name of the State Department redacted for privacy reasons. The email referred to former Trump strategist Steve Bannon as an unavowed racist and predicted the worst is coming. Now, there is no evidence in the released documents that Powers responded or chastised the sender for using government email for such political bias. But there is ample evidence she engaged in similar Trump bashing. In December 2016, for example, when she sent a news story about Trump's efforts to communicate a new policy direction for the UN, Powers snarkily replied, "This reflects the lack of understanding of history." When Trump announced his intent to withdraw the U.S. from the global climate deal, Powers emailed a colleague, "Lord, help us all." And when a routine diplomatic issue with Japan rose in late November 2016, Powers emailed another colleague. It is unreal how the Trump dynamic has changed things. And perhaps the most telling are Powers' efforts to arrange media interviews and speeches during her final days in office, clearly aiming to counter the incoming president's agenda and fan the narrative that Trump might be dangerously soft on matters involving Russia and hard on immigrants. When Jorge Ramos, news anchor for the special language network Univision, floated an idea for an exit interview, Powers suggested her anguish at seeing Democrats lose the election was receding the more she watched Trump in action. At first blush, the Powers emails may seem to be nothing more than political screeds from government elitists exhibiting their disbelief that America elected Trump, but the president's defenders and congressional investigators see reason for concern. The sheer political panic evidenced in Samantha Powers' emails shows that the fix was in against the incoming administration even before the 45th president was sworn into office. One thing clear from Powers' emails is an effort to turn a burgeoning Russia scandal against Trump during her final days in office. For example, when a reporter emailed that he was working on a story advancing the Trump-Russia collusion theory, she asked Obama's Deputy National Security Advisor, Ben Rhodes, to assist. "Sounds serious. Can you follow up, Ben?" she emailed. On January 17, 2017, 3 days before she and Obama left office, Powers worked into the wee hours of the morning to make her final speech, one that would warn Trump might have wrong formula for addressing Russian aggression. The most important impact of the emails may lie in the ongoing investigation into the Obama administration's unmasking of American names in secret foreign intelligence reports. Congressional investigators confirmed more than 2 years ago that there was a massive spike between 2014 and 2016 in the number of names Obama officials asked be unmasked, including dozens involving Trump campaign and transition officials. Though Powers' UN job did not have regular intelligence gathering responsibilities, her name was invoked as the authority for unmasking hundreds of Americans' names in 2016, averaging more than one American name per day. And this is what the investigation found. When Powers was questioned last summer, she gave a ridiculous answer, and it made no sense. She claimed that she did not specifically request many of the unmaskings and that other government officials must have used her name as a justification. Now, we know that everything is recorded. The person's name, who's asking for the unmasking, they have to sign it, they have to show their ID. And we know that this is fake, phony, and false. Let's go back to post 1828. This is August 2018. This is the spy operation. Q gave us what happened here, and Samantha Power's name is there. It's in the entire line. White House, Hussein, VJ, DM, JB, RE, JK, John Kerry, Samantha Powers. And then it goes on down the list. And we went through this before. And you can see that she was completely involved in this. And again, when we look at what is going on here, the Patriots are dripping the information out slowly but surely. Now, this is getting the people on the same page. But the other thing that's happening here, it's making the deep state panic and sweat it out every time they come out with a new story. Because again, they know that the Patriots have all the information and they're sweating it out. They're panicking. And this is why they're playing their hand right now. Now, Trump was out there and he was asked a question. He said, listen, should a vacancy come up on the Supreme Court before the 2020 election, would you fill the seat promptly? And Trump said, absolutely, I'll fill the seat promptly. Now, the two justices are Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She's 86, and she had recent health problems, and she makes some strange appearances, and nobody really sees her speaking, and nobody really sees her, doing certain things. So there's still a big question mark right there. And we also have Stephen Breyer, who is 80 years old. And remember, the deep state is very worried about the Supreme Court because if one of these two people should pass on, Trump then, or retire, or whatever they do, Trump then would have the ability to bring in another Supreme Court judge. And they're very, very worried about this. Now, down at the border, it seems like Mexico is ramping up their enforcement. Vice President Mike Pence tweeted out the following. Mexico is keeping its promise and now sending 15,000 troops to border to help with crisis. Meanwhile, Dems won't fund beds for migrant children. Mexico continues to do more than congressional Dems to secure our border, and it's time for them to step up. Now, Trump, he has selected an acting immigration and custom enforcement director, Mark Morgan, to be the acting head, the Department of Homeland Security agency that oversees all border and custom operations. Now, the White House, they have not announced the decision yet, but it seems that Morgan has accepted the job already. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner John Sanders informed acting DHS Secretary Kevin McAleenan, his predecessor, on Monday he would be resigning by July 5th. Sanders shared the letter with the agency of about 60,000 personnel. So we can see that Trump, he's switching it out, bringing in new people because he needs to get rid of the swamp. And I do believe that Kevin McAleenan, he needs to go also. He is part of the swamp. Now, very interestingly, 4 ISIS terrorists from Iraq and Egypt were arrested in Nicaragua on their way up to the U.S. southern border. And we need to remember, the Islamic State is part of the paid mercenary army of the intelligence agencies. And again, were they trying to bring them into the country to maybe push a certain event or have something happen here in the United States? Now, very interestingly, Project Veritas, their video that was posted with the Google Insider, that was taken down because of privacy issues. And this is what Google is saying. But we know that this is not really the real reason. Now we find out that Google execs suddenly go into hiding after Project Veritas exposes the Trump destruction plans for the 2020 election. Now, Project Veritas, they are pushing their agenda by finding more and more insiders. Actually, insiders are contacting them. And Project Veritas tweeted out the following. YouTube is losing their censorship battle. How do we know? Dozens of big tech insiders have come to Project Veritas in the last 24 hours. Louis Gohmert tweeted out the following: Google should not be deciding whether content is important or trivial, and they most assuredly should not be meddling in our election process. They need their immunity stripped. And he went on to post his link to his full statement. Now, James O'Keefe, he's continuing with the pressure on these big tech companies. There are more and more insiders that are seeking him out now because they're upset the way things are going in their company. Remember, a lot of companies, everything is very compartmentalized. You don't really understand what is going on in other areas. You think everything is going great, but up above you and above them, they're doing something completely different. Now, James O'Keefe, he tweeted out the following: Developing Insider. We have more documents from an insider within Google YouTube that at Project Veritas about to imminently release. Your company's statement at Susan Wojcinski is about to look very, very bad. So it looks like James O'Keefe is coming out with some bombshells here. Now, Q has been telling us about this, and we know the government, they are pushing an antitrust lawsuit. We know Devin Nunes is suing Twitter right now. And this is the beginning stages of calling attention to censorship here in the United States. And we need to remember, even though these outfits are private platforms, they don't have the right to censor individuals. Remember, they had a choice. Are you a publisher or are you a platform? They decided they are a platform, but they're trying to move a little bit into the publisher realm by making up rules and saying, we don't like what you're saying. We don't like this politically. We don't think this should be out there. And this is not their job. If they're a publisher, yes, it's their job. If it's a platform, it is not their job. And this is why the government right now is looking into antitrust violations. And they're going to decide, are they a public utility or are they a publisher? And maybe they're too big and we need to split them up, which I do believe might be coming. Now, Q has warned us about this before, and we are now heading down that path. Now, we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Afghanistan and the U.S., they've moved forward with their peace deal. Pompeo tweets out the following: Afghanistan has come far in the last 18 years. Afghans yearn for peace, and we share their desire to end the conflict. Peace would offer Afghans and the wider region a different future, one which we are ready to support. And they're getting very, very close to a peace deal. Remember, Trump has told us that these wars are endless wars that need to end. And when we start to look around now, we can see that Trump and the Patriots, they're pushing very hard to have peace. So let's put all of this together right now. Trump has removed the black sites from Iran, has removed the black sites from North Korea. Trump has now leveraged Iran into peace talks. They will be calling him very soon. Pompeo travels to Afghanistan to begin the narrative of peace. He already tweets it out. Trump is meeting with Xi in the G20 meeting. He will seal the deal, and trade balance will be reestablished. We also see that Trump is still working on Venezuela. Trump and the Patriots are dripping out information on the deep state every single day to let the public know what is going on and also to have the deep state panic. We also see they're going after the big tech companies for censorship. And if you notice, all of this is happening all at once. What does the deep state have? They're trying to push the Hatch Act. They're trying to bring Mueller in to have him testify to show the world that Trump obstructed, his ability to work the case, and then we can move forward with impeachment. That's what they're trying to do with Mueller. It is not going to work. Why? Because, as Trump has always said, and Q has said, we need to go back to the beginning, and a lot of representatives have said this too. We need to go back to the beginning and understand how this started. Because if it started under false pretenses, this entire investigation is meaningless. Trump couldn't obstruct something that's fake, phony, and false. If the Russian collusion and everything else is fake, and Mueller is shown to be a liar, and the investigation was started by the deep state under false pretenses, the whole thing goes down the tubes. And that's what the Patriots are doing right now. And this is why their strategy, the deep state strategy, will never work. Now, this doesn't mean they won't move to the next level and try to, do something to Trump, maybe try to get rid of him in a different way, like an assassination. Because their ammunition is pretty much used up at this time. Yes, they can throw other women at him. Yes, they can bring other people in to testify. Yes, they can maybe bring something else up that we didn't even know about, which they made up, and bring it out into the public and have the mainstream media blast it out there. But that's all not going to work because it's propaganda. You can't win on propaganda. You need to win on truth and facts. And we're at a turning point right now because it started with the alternative media. Then when Trump got elected, it moved into Q. Then it moved into people, everyday people, who are just tweeting out, who are investigating, the Anons who are researching. And it's because of each and every one of us. That is what is making a difference right now. More and more people that get involved in this, learn the truth, spread the truth, either through Twitter, Gab, YouTube, Facebook, and I know a lot of people are getting banned. Even so, this is how you create change. People create the change. Yes, we need someone up there to hold the flag and be out in front. That is Trump. Then you have the Patriots behind that. But without the support of all of us behind this individual, nothing can be done. And guess what? We are all doing it. Every single day, we're all coming together. We're all pushing out the truth. And when you take someone on Twitter, someone on Facebook, someone on YouTube, someone on Gab, and then you multiply this on Twitter and all the other big tech companies, and you continually have this out there, you have people that are coming together, which is completely unstoppable. Because now we're just not one over here, one over there, and we're all separated. We're all on the same page. We're all pushing the same message. And when you have hundreds of thousands, millions of people doing the same thing, the message gets louder and louder and louder, and it cannot be ignored. This is why you see the big tech companies censoring right now. It's not because, let's hide this person, because the message is getting louder and louder, and more people are joining in, learning the truth, and spreading the truth, and the message is getting stronger and stronger. This is what they fear. They fear that people are going to wake up and learn the truth, and this is what is happening, and it's happening every single day. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.